All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being a part of our experiment here at Horse Racing Nation, where we are going to hopefully be doing a few of these with a few more participants. I'm leading the charge, though, tonight. Opening night at Turfway Park. I love being a part of the meet so much last year that even though I am no longer with Churchill Downs Incorporated, I could just not stay away from Florence, Kentucky. I had to be involved again. And since they don't have anyone doing picks or anything, thought this would be a fun way to chat about the races coming up at Turfway. I do have the feed up that is through Naira Bets, and I did Naira Bets, which you can see because I know Twin Spires also gets the little bug as being a part of the CDI empire up there at Turfway. So I do use both. Admittedly, part of that born out of some rules as a Churchill employee about when I could not use Twin Spires. So Naira Bets has been a go-to at times, but those who know me know I am pretty loyal to CDI even in my departure. So Twin Spires still in the mix, Naira Bets as well. Brisnet very much going to be a part of my handicapping process at Turfway as it is anywhere, but most importantly, looking forward to hearing from, or at least reading from other players of Turfway, hopefully get a good community going of people who like playing races this time of day, especially. Just think racing, for as great as social media has been in that regard, and Twitter and talking about races, etc. I do think there's sort of a live real-time element that we miss out on. Really, I think social media and the internet and being able to Zoom and all that really enhances the experience for a horse player can. So that's going to be some of the goals here. Obviously, the primary goal, though, is without question winning money and picking winners, or at least picking the right horses to use in our wagers. And the pick five, $50,000 currently in the pool, should be six figures easy based on what we saw first couple of days of the meet last year. And this is a tough sequence. This is not, in my estimation, easy. They rarely are when you average more than 10 horses a race, as we take a look at the horses in the paddock. And hopefully down the road, as we bring more people in to do these and talk about handicapping, we're going to have some people who specialize and use physical attributes of a horse, how they're looking in the paddock, on the track, etc. It's an element of the game I am not too good at, and one I did not bring to the paddock when I did my analysis for Churchill and Turfway in the past. So that's definitely a hole I'm looking to fill, and eager to involve some people who are better at that aspect of the game than I am. We're looking to start this meet off with a bang, though, because my top selection is number 2 that you see right there. I'm not sure if my mouse is on the screen share, but number 2 is on the screen. That's what's most important. 31 to 1. And this horse has what Predictiform, which is the online version of Kerry Photius's Equiform, calls a new pace top. And that is when a horse runs faster early than it has before in previous form cycles without running a lifetime best final figure. So if you think of a Beyer or Brisnet speed rating as the final speed number, Predictiform uses pace figures. And you could do this using Timeform or Brisnet as well. But using the Predictiform pace figures, a horse who runs fast early, but does not run a lifetime best final figure. And what Kerry Photius found with his Equiform numbers is that is the biggest indicator of potential for improvement next time out. So, there's all these sorts of angles that we use as handicappers: cutbacks, second off the layoff, first time Lasix, gelded, trainer patterns, you name it, lone speed, dropping in class, et cetera, et cetera. Of all those things, when Kerry crunched the numbers, he found that it was this pattern, running faster early than it had run before, without running its fastest final figure. So they slowed down, got tired, whatever. And a lot of people might think of that and say, or see that and say, oh, horse tired, maybe going in the wrong direction. They're actually going in the right direction. And at 34-1, I cannot ignore the deuce here at this price in the Turfway Park lid lifter. I also, and I'll see if I can share the screen. That's part of the allure here, hopefully, is meeting controls. I really like number 9 as well, and 13-1, and I like both 2 and 9, and I did pick the 2 just because it was a higher price. There we go. Here's the Brisnet number. Hopefully that's what you're paused. Let's see here. New share and Turfway Park. There we go. All right. So that's race 3, scrolling up. I really do also like number 9 in here. And this is a mile and a quarter race. Should have mentioned that a little earlier. That's certainly an interesting wrinkle. Turfway Park been doing these mile and a quarter races to kick off the meet the last few years. And number 2, Honky Tonk Hero, is also one of the more forwardly placed horses. The E-type there you see. I do like that. I do like speed in these type of races. Honky Tonk Heroes by Gulfstream out of a Thunder Gulch mare. So a lot of positive signs at a big price. You're almost sort of gun shy, like, what am I missing? Maybe it's a connections, not really well known, who knows, but 30-1, number 2, definitely the top pick. The Happy Giant, this horse definitely likes the longer distances, has gone over the hurdles before, has come in and out of the maiden ranks, and I just thought at a mile and a quarter from the outside, and just got a note to zoom in on this, which sorry about that, make sure everyone can see. Shannonewski for Allison Fulmer, 13-1. This horse in the Laurel race here, the 9 furlong maiden, and the reason this horse has 2 wins is Brisnet is counting the jumps races, but on the flat, the Happy Giant still looking for his first victory. And this race at Laurel came back extremely fast on Ragozin. And we do know that the Happy Giant certainly does not lack for distance or stamina, even though based on the breeding, Frost Giant out of a mare by Champion Sprinter Marquetry, not a ton of stamina influence there, but this horse has done well, has gone over jumps, and got a very quick number in this Laurel race. If the Happy Giant is able to run back to that at all, he is absolutely a player at the likely price. But again, Honky Tonk Hero, the top choice, Go Zapper, Thunder Gulch mare, plenty of stamina influence, gets to stretch out, goes to synthetic, is the only runner out of the dam not to have won yet. There's a stakes winner there, so some class. I've been wrong before at 2-1, so I'm certainly prepared to be wrong at 30-1. But Honky Tonk Hero, to me, 100% the play in the opening race at that kind of price. Back to the live feed, and we are going to cut the live feed during the race. Hopefully, as I noted, I'm watching this on Naira Bets. Twin Spires has it. Wherever you play the races is going to have the race. So we will let us all watch the race, and I'll stop sharing at that point. But in terms of the pick 5 here, obviously you're going to want to use the 2 and 9. The other horses I had in the B column, I had made the 2 and 9 the A's at those prices, but 1, 5, 7, and 8 are logical. The public agrees for me. That just leaves the 3, 4, and 6 on the outside looking in, and this is where I struggle because okay, the 5's 9-5, pretty short, and if I'm willing to go 4 or 5 deep, can I stand to get beat by the 5? Probably. Especially since the horses I like in the 4th leg, numbers 6 and 7, both figure to be the ones to take money. I like the second choice in the last leg. Maybe trying to beat the Asmussen first-time starter in the last leg is reason enough to just spread here, try to get through it. I will say I also like some prices in the 3rd leg, 3, 4, 5, and 7. And with those being on the ticket, I do think the 5 is playable here at 9-5, even on a spread, even saying, okay, yeah, I don't like the favorite because I'm willing to go 6-7 deep here. I think I have enough alternative positions and a bunch of deep fields where I'm not on who Coots thought was the universal single, so to speak. In my mind, the 5 for that reason is worth a play. I am going to stop sharing there. I think we had an issue with how the live racing was looking on the live feed. So we'll see if we can address that in the future. That's always something to keep in mind. And got a phone call from Cincinnati. Hopefully that's not Turfway Park complaining that I'm talking about their races, but hopefully we'll send them some handle and they won't be too upset. So killed the screen share. And that's okay because that will allow me, I actually have to place my wagers, which is the fun part. And hopefully we'll be able to root home a winner or two. Again, I am going to use the 6 horses in the A and B column with the thought that I am not on the logical single in the 5th leg. And I have some price looks in the 3rd leg. To the point where even if the 5 wins, I do think a much more likely winner than 3, 4, or 6. Famous last words, not to get through if one of those win at a nice price, but I just kind of feel like this is a situation you can't use them all. Screen grabbing my ticket for prosperity, and off we go. We've got 2 minutes to post. Need to figure out I don't like seeing the live stream because then I cannot, it's on a delay and it sort of messes me up. So hopefully we'll be able to figure out a better way to do, there was a scratch in one of my races. Hopefully we'll figure out a better way to do some chatting because we definitely want to involve as many people as possible in this, have some fun with it. And did we get a late scratch here? No, maybe. Something isn't going through and I cannot figure out where the scratch is. It must be in leg 3. Runner selected is not valid. Hate when that happens. All right, well, that's okay. We'll figure it out later because we've got a race to watch soon. And now that I'm not sharing, I guess I can, no chats here. Okay, so they are walking to the track, and this is definitely his one thing I have learned right away is absolutely going to need to have someone else with me because this then we'll know what's being shared and what's not. We're going to try to load this again as they're heading to the track. I have to say that Tapeta looks good. Last year, not sure it was brand new. That new Tapeta smell looked kind of off color or something. Looks better now, but that's not what's really important. Hopefully it is as safe as possible for the horses. Of course, the most important thing. 5 now drifting up to 2-1, as did the 7 down to 2-1, and spent so much time talking about that pick 5. Didn't really talk about the vertical opportunities in this race, of which I do think there are several, because if I like the 2 and I like the 9, feels like there's something to be done there. Again, 1, 5, 7, and 8, the others in the mix for me. I just think it's a matter of 2, 9 with those 4. That is $10, and reverse it. Those 4 over the 2, 9, 20 units. That's definitely going to be a play for me. So 2, 9 with 1, 2, 5, 7, 8, 9, and 1, 2, 5, 7, 8, 9 over 2, 9. Should it come 2, 9 or 9, 2, would have it twice, which at those prices would definitely be a good way to start the meet. Some other ways that I slice and dice these races, I mentioned Brisnet. I use the Always software. I thought via optics, which is somewhat pace projector, note, just a bunch of different variables that they present pretty well in one place. I thought the 7 probably had the best look there. The 9, which does not have a lot to go on because coming in and out of those jumps races, But the 9, I think if anyone's able to close, if things get dicey on the front end because of the mile and a quarter race, I do think the 9 could be one of the ones to be the one, so to speak. So they are going to the gate, and I'm going to try this pick 5 again after it didn't let me go through. Let's see, what did I have? 6, 7 in the 4th leg, and then we're going to try to beat the Asmussen in the. Yeah, that's not right. Oh, there we go. All right, yes. Whatever horse was supposedly scratched is scratched out. So we are good to go there. And all right, copy my ticket. Not sure what everyone's seeing, but do that. And gonna kill the stream because again, don't want to run afoul of any rules, and they are off. So hopefully you're all watching and enjoying and see what happens here in the opener at Turfway Park. Try to keep my poker face on. Maybe we can get a route going in the last leg. So yeah, this is somewhat interesting. I actually thought the 2 had a big chance to make the lead, and I would say if there were in race betting, I'd be liking my spot on the 5 if I had been a backer. 9 to 5, a pretty good price from there. The 9 looks completely out of it. But we'll see. A long way to go. 24 and 1/10 and 48 and 2. Actually, I think that's pretty brisk on Tapeta for a mile and a quarter. So pretty decent clip. Scarabee, racehorse name pronunciation, not my strong suit, but the 7 who ended up ticking down to 2-1 co-favoritism going to the gate, drifting up to 7-2. And I'm not really sure where all the money came because really Brown Delivers didn't take a ton either, down to 9 to 5. Honky Tonk Hero wants to stick around, but probably not good enough here. And at this point, guess hoping that someone beats the 5 in terms of at least getting the favorite off the ticket. Waters are looking kind of deep for him. I'm surprised to see the 1 with 7-2 on the final flash. I thought he might actually be a little higher, and he is going to be the winner. 1-7. So Exacta does not cash. We do survive the pick 5 with our A's and B's 1, 2, 5, 7, 8, 9. And in retrospect, probably only needed 3 of those. So, yeah, took a little bit of a shot with the 2 and 9, ending up not needing either. The 9 was completely out of touch. I'm not big on trying to make snap judgments on how a track is playing, but I've also come around to the idea that if you're going to take advantage of a perceived bias, or not a perceived bias, you're going to take advantage of any sort of bias, you want to do so immediately. You don't want to wait for the first week to be over and everyone says, oh yeah, outside speed is great. Well, by then everyone knows. So based on what we saw here, maybe you're looking for mid-pack outside. I mean, Brown Delivers, in my mind, went a little quick, I guess. So yeah, but did get a 25-1 third quarter and a 25-1 fourth quarter, and was able to hold off the rest, but not much behind him, admittedly. I would say the top 2 got the better trips, but Cool Rags was on the outside. And worth noting that Geraldo Corrales definitely can ride Turfway Park. And I saw someone, I think maybe one of the Discord racing servers, mention if Geraldo Corrales is 20-1 or higher, it's an automatic bet. he was 7-2 here. So, not exactly stealing money, but he gave a great ride. And as you saw from the head on, the one actually was kind of caught inside the rail going down the back or in the home stretch through the first time. So Geraldo overcame quite a bit there, got to the outside, got clear run, was able to take over Scarby to get the win and to advance. Our pick 5 tickets, probably many others as well. 7-2 is an okay price, but I always think about these things in terms of, well, was anyone really singling the 9-5 here? Was number 5? And looks like we have an audio issue here. So to I think I cut out for a little bit there as we go back to having the audio on. And it's just my logo, so I think I might be muted here.
Hey, Ed.
Hey, Mark.
Nice breakdown on that first race there.
Yeah, unfortunately didn't pan out.
So you thought the pace was fairly fast there?
I mean, I would think for a mile and a quarter for these types, 24, considering they went 25 in the third and fourth quarter, it seems kind of brisk. 24 flat and then 24 and 1.
Yeah, it seemed like the 2, 5, and 7, the riders kind of had, they kind of liked their spots, and then maybe just went a little too fast, and then the one really kind of took advantage of the end there.
And I'm not sure if you saw the head on. They haven't shown the full replay, but they showed the start. And the one actually got kind of pushed to the inside of the rail and probably had to lose some ground in terms of making sure he stayed in the race. So probably was the best there anyway, and got the win. But I was saying, I used to be very averse to like making judgments on how a track is playing, but at the same time, by the time everyone reaches a conclusion, you've lost any potential edge. So I guess if you're going to try to glean anything from the first race, maybe it's that you want to be somewhat close on the outside, but probably need to see a little more with the 10 furlong variable.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's tough too. I think, you covered Turfway Park all last winter, so this is awesome having you kind of on and kind of breaking it down for everybody. For me, like regular handicappers, it's kind of a tough track to learn. So I guess one question I wanted to ask you is, obviously Corrales rides the track very well, but it's the first race of the meet, first night of the meet. Do the jocks even really know how to ride it, for a little while?
Yeah, and they've had synthetic for going on a generation now, but the Tapeta is new. So that's always sort of, how different is it? That was new last year, I should say. So this is only the second year of that. It's also a lot milder than, we normally greet Turfway with. And, there's always some chatter about how the weather affects synthetic surfaces. So I would definitely say they're all kind of coming in new, even though those who know the track well, like you noted, Corrales and Landeros had a great year last year, and McKee's booted home some big price winners. So all the usual suspects are back. But to me, the thing with Turfway isn't so much the surface, because that can be different day to day, weather to weather. The configuration of the mile oval is definitely very different than Churchill. Keeneland's a mile and a 16th. Turfway is less of a stretch, more turns. So it's different even in just that regard from, coming off the turn, you have a lot less ground to work with than you do at Churchill.
Yeah, it's definitely, it doesn't take long looking at the stats to see how well Corrales and a couple of the other jockeys do to say, wow, this is probably a tough track to ride. And because others might, do kind of poorly in comparison. But yeah, obviously Turfway is known for long shots on the polytrack, and it's tough to cap. So kind of really great having you break it down. And what are you looking for in this next race?
I thought this was tough because for me, it came down to two, and the 3 and 6 were the two for me, and the 3 is who I landed on top. But then I looked at our own power picks, and eager to see how they do at the meet, which had the 7, by the way, in the last race. So not too bad at 7-2, trying to beat the favorite and almost got the job done. But they had the 6. Brisnet Prime Power also greatly preferred the 6. It was like a 7-point gap. So I kind of struggled with, okay, that, the data is backing me up, based on how I handicapped it. It's a 2-horse race, but I actually thought the 3, to me, had a better look to it. So in those situations, certainly on the win end, I'd be comfortable just taking whoever the longer price is. But from a pick 5, I did kind of go with the survive and advance point of view, and just going to try to get through it with one of those two.
Right. Yeah, and I'm on the just going back to that last race for 1 second. I didn't, I forgot again that it was a 1.25 miles. So being a 10 furlong race, maybe that was just the kind of the last straw where the one was able to get by the 7 and 5 at the end, because looked like that 7 was, fighting sort of till the end. But that's a long race on polytrack.
I think you and I were talking about this last night, and more to come from us, hopefully, on some cool Sire stats and such. But Cool Rags, the winner, has had 5 starts on turf, and he's by Union Rags. And you would be hard pressed to find a worse sire who's ever stood for more than $10,000 with turf runners than Union Rags. And synthetic's a different ball game. And here he is, a Belmont winning sire out of a Smart Strike mare. So the distance certainly made sense. Right. And he got his first non-turf, or just his second non-turf start in 7 tries. So, those are the type of things too, when people talk about the big prices at Turfway, and 7-2 wasn't necessarily that in this case. But I think Turfway is a spot where you kind of, those types of variables, a horse, just finds the right combination. And if previously it was leading to poor efforts, that's where you get the price.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely fell victim though to over researching that, because I saw the Union Rag stats on Polytrack and I just couldn't do it. But you're right.
That's I mean, it seems like dirt's his game, but Michael Dickinson always said of the synthetics, Tapeta was the most like dirt.
That's a good point. Yeah, not all synthetics are the same. Actually, if I can share screen there for a second, do you? I think you have to enable screen sharing.
Multiple participants. There you go.
Okay, let's see if I can share screen. I wanted to take a look at our post position bias report. Let's see. Are you seeing that?
No, I'm still seeing you, but
you're still seeing me. Okay. Let's see. It says I'm screen sharing, so let's see. Maybe I'll find out when. No, doesn't look like it. I'm trying to show the post position report. I'll just talk to it for a second here. Is at 1.16 on the synthetic. It's showing basically a negative return on posts 1, 3, 4, and 5. So most of the inside posts just being kind of disadvantaged, and the outside being more of an advantage. In this case, posts 6, 7, and 8, and 9. So I was just curious if you had any thoughts on like the 2 turn races being maybe a little bit biased to the outside.
Yeah, I think, and it used to be one of those like, the 1 mile and the 16th, you get the added run in. The mile races is where I definitely fear for taking an outside horse, because they're right on top of the turn practically. But I would definitely say with the mile and the 16th, I'd rather be on the outside and in the clear than getting that kickback down on the inside. And I'm not sure if, as we go on and add to these stats and more of them reflect Tapeta versus the Polytrack, but, if you remember jockeys, the horror stories of the clumps of Polytrack coming back in horses. And I think I think that's in play with the post stats, not so much like, oh, it's better. The track favors an outside run. I just think you want your horse to avoid any sort of obstacles.
Right. The yeah, no, that's a good point, especially if there's like tiring front runners in front of you. So
And
I
then,
think
yeah, and that speaks to kind of what I said with the configuration in play, because if you get stopped, it's more likely going to be on the turn at Turfway than say at Churchill, where maybe you can switch to the outside in that long stretch. At Turfway, you know, you're kind of getting your run going on the turn because it's a shorter stretch, and if you get stopped
right.
there, you're just out.
Right. Ed, I think it's sharing, let's see, it's sharing your screen where you'd stop the Naira Bets video. So I don't know if you want to pull up like Briss or something else we can
Oh,
share.
okay.
And then some comments in the chat. So, and Enrique is saying, yes, it's me, fellow Illini, Big Ten. Just coming back to that. So yeah, shout out for the ILLINI. And let's see if our basketball team will figure it out. It was a good run last year. And then the shakeup, Papo is in the chat with the shakeup bias, which he does a great job with his breaking down the Briss program and looking at track biases, especially covering Gulfstream, which is another track with synthetic that's tough to figure out, but a lot of fun to figure out.
New to the synthetic scene.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know if I'm sure you saw, we ran that article on Horse Racing Nation earlier this week, maybe even yesterday, a couple days ago. But they're talking about 30% of the races on the poly track or on the Tapeta. So I think that's going to really drive horse players crazy in these multi-race sequences. You're gonna not going to be able to get around it. So the options are either stay out of the pick 5 or try to get a better handle on the Tapeta.
Well, I will be a silent investor in Gulfstream tickets. My focus definitely Turfway, Oak Lawn, when Sam Houston opens, like playing there. But I do think Gulfstream, and we have Johnny V in California, Jose staying in New York. So interesting jockey colony too. And I'm going to be an interested observer for sure, but I'm going to have a hard time getting involved early with all those question marks there.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, Gulfstream, yeah, definitely a lot of questions. And, that's another track with all those different turf rail settings and, going back to a lot of turf sprints. And there's a lot of biases to some of those settings too. So it's a tough track to play. Like you said, I love playing Sam Houston. It's great night racing, get big fields, turf racing, and Turfway as well. And then Oaklawn is going to be great with the purses. It's going to be really interesting. And seems like the Oaklawn purse structure and meet may put a little dent in some of these other meets at this time.
Without question. Yeah, I think fortunately Fairgrounds might be the lack of a better word, loser in that battle, just because the money's so good. But Fairgrounds has turf, so that's an alternative that Oaklawn can't offer.
And state
I have
breds.
to say, what's that?
And state breds, right? And Louisiana
state breds. Yeah, the law breds are always good for a 12-horse nightcap, similar to the old days in California. I have to say I'm pretty surprised that Till Then is 5-2 here. 8-1 on the morning line. Didn't necessarily think he'd be that long, but Eric Reed, certainly a capable trainer. 20% off this type of layoff, just 14% off the claim though, and the winners must have been short prices because the ROI is very low for a 14% stat number. And just looking at, the Brisnet speed ratings, this horse has only run fast enough once in his career. I just don't see it. Maybe Eric found something wrong and fixed it, and the barn knows, but Till Then is going to have to wait on me.
Well, this is the old one where we have to look at the will pays, right? And try to decipher what's real in the betting and what's not. And it's every horse player's favorite game. So as you're saying that, I'm looking at.
It's true. Yeah, there's only 6,800 in the win pool.
Okay. which is, well, that should be enough. But, obviously looking at the double pool, there's 14,000 in there, and the three, okay, you're pulling up. The three is much the favorite, if that's a term. Is the two scratch? The two show those, like, that's a console, right?
Yes,
So
the 2 is out.
yeah. But of the ones that are live, yeah, so those $9.60 ones are scratches, but the $24 will pay on the 3 makes it, we would predict it to be a huge favorite at post time. And because I agree with you, I think the 1 makes sense, but not 2-to-1, 3-to-1.
Not 2-to-1. Yeah, good point on the Wolf. I always just haven't conditioned myself to that's just modern horse playing now. The money's going to come in as they go to the gate, and you definitely have to look at the will pays. And yeah, I noted, I ended up with the 3 on top, but I have to say it looks to be twice the price based on the double. I don't know that there's enough separation for me that I'm willing just to take the longer price from a win bet standpoint. And I really have nothing clever to do differently in the pick 4. So I'm kind of standing pat with my pick 5. Are you the type that like juggles multi-race bets and think to yourself, well, if I'm live in this manner in the pick 5, I'll run back a pick 4 like this, or do you just try to cover it all in a pick 5? And if you're out, you're out.
Yeah, I mean, usually if I'm out and I like something, I will try to come back with a pick 4. And I have to say, that doesn't seem to work very well. A lot of times it's like, if you're not seeing it, you're not seeing it. But it's hard to resist as a horse player, especially when you've invested the time into the pick 5. So, it just depends. I try not to press too much, usually it's better to let it ride. I did want to say, while can you flip back to the double will pays? Ed? We should probably just explain that really quickly for anybody that doesn't, isn't super familiar with the will pays. The reason we're doing that is you can sort of imply the odds. So what we're saying is the lowest will pay is the 3 at 24.40. And by far, so again, the 2 and 5 are scratched. So those are consolation doubles. But what essentially the 24.40 on the 3 is saying is it is by far in a way the favorite in the double. So we figure that the double players are the same players that are going to, eventually be betting the win here and are efficient and smart, that the 3 is going to be a big favorite in this race. And so, sometimes I'm like you, it's like the odds are changing and it's frustrating. And so it's just easier to take a couple minutes, open up the will pays and say, okay, the 3 is going to be favorite. And, so the prediction then off of this would be that the 6 is slightly ahead as a second choice ahead of the 1 and the 7. So I'm not sure if that's how you saw it, but that's why we're using the will pays.
Yeah. And then, I also not, if I were playing like, pick 4, what do I do? And what I like to do as well then is, okay, so the double probables into the next race.
Exactly.
The 3 and 5 looks to be the favored combination. 11 taking a little bit of money, who I did not have as an A. My A's in third or 3, 4, 5, 7. So that, that might be a situation of, well, is 3, 5 really the way I want to go? Because I do like the logicals in the third leg of the pick 4, race 4.
Right.
No. So I might just say, okay, 3 with 3, 4, 7, and then use the logicals in the third leg, number 6 and 7 for me. But, occasionally too, you might hate the favorite in the third leg, and then you're willing to just get through even with the chalky double. So that's something to think about too, especially with the Turfway morning line. I thought was pretty solid today. But we all play plenty of tracks and plenty of days where it can't be trusted, and looking ahead in those doubles kind of gives you a sense of, if you're on an underlay combination, you can adapt using the double pool.
Yeah, it's a great tool. I like to do it just like you said, to just make sure I didn't miss something, or if there's some early action in that next race, like it looks like you said, the 1, 5, and 11 are getting the money for race 3. So then, if you don't have those and you want to give it another thought, it's definitely a helpful tool. Yeah, I was looking at 1, 6 here and then maybe fading the 3 a little bit or using it as a B, but I think this sort of looks like a survive and advance type of race. Nothing too exciting.
Yeah, down to 8 to 5, and the one still holding steady. I mean, I have to think at some point will be a longer price than the 6 based on those double will pays, but not yet.
Yeah. Yeah, that is interesting. It sort of looks like the horse closed in the last race, but really it ran evenly, 5th by 5, 4th by 5. It has a nice comment line of, looping 3 wide, 4 wide, and then sort of flattened out. But maybe because people see that it clearly, ran an okay race on the synthetic, that this is one that should at least handle the synthetic. But I agree at some point, it's really getting to be an underlay.
Now, do you do anything with physical handicapping on the track?
I don't. I found that I did at one point when one summer I went to the track every day. I think that was like after college. And, it's like if I do it every race, I could kind of get into it. I'm more so at the live track. But I think, when I'm just kind of trying to look at a bit of the post parade and don't see it all on screen, I'd rather, use my strength as a handicapper in other ways than dabble with that.
Yeah, no, I definitely, it's almost like a magic trick when someone, pulls out like in this case, oh, the 8 looks great and the horse runs well. Like I'm a believer in it, but I just don't have the background. I mean, it's similar to me of, watching works. I think if you have that eye and you understand what you're looking at, you just kind of know trainer patterns as well, and, can tell if horses are going the right way or wrong way. There's a lot to it, but parachuting in Derby week and think you have a handle for how these horses look in the morning isn't great either. And similar to this, if all of a sudden just I think I know the 7 who I've never seen before in my life, it seems like there's more. I mean, it's luck. I mean, you may think you know what you're looking at, but you're ultimately just paying the takeout with those type of opinions. But
well,
the 3's even money now, so someone likes something that they've seen over the last few minutes.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I will say about watching horses is it is kind of the thing that anybody can do. I mean, if you see a horse that looks really good, you shouldn't discount that. But it's just something that where if I'm handicapping and looking at pace and different things, I probably don't want to get into it too much. But I mean, we all have stories. I was going to say a fun story that Travis Stone and I were at Breeders' Cup watching the workouts one time, and we were. You still there with me, Ed? Yeah,
I'm here. Yep.
So, and we were watching, this is going back a few years ago, it was the 06 Breeders' Cup, and a horse went by, and, it was one of those like, wow, who is that? And, look it up, didn't even know who the horse was. It was a European horse. And we're like, Red Rocks, who's that?
Oh.
3-year-old came in the Breeders' Cup turf and he sailed at like, 6 to 1 or what have you. But it was, one of those things where you're seeing 20, 30, 40 horses all go by. And this one individual kind of stood out. And I think that's the case where I think anybody, if you're really kind of starting to look, you can do that. And that's kind of more when I would be looking at horse flesh and trying to, but really more, it's like if something hits you over the head like that.
Well, John Scheinman, do you know him?
Oh, I know the name. I don't know.
Yeah, Eclipse Award-winning writer John Scheinman. He says he bet Giacomo based on the post parade.
Yeah, so, I know people that. Yeah, I had somebody I worked with that bet Gopher Gin and Strode's Creek out of the post parade. Although that's going back a few years. Yeah, no, I think you definitely can do it, and I definitely wouldn't discourage people from looking at horses, because I think once you start looking at maybe 3-4 races, you start to see a little bit of patterns and things like that. But you know how then it goes, then you're like, well, that one looks good, and then you don't bet it, and then you get frustrated and all that. So it's kind of, it's definitely an art, and have a ton of respect for people. You know, a lot of the paddock commentators at different tracks that can do that really well. It's you know, definitely have a lot of respect for that. It's
right. Yeah, and I think, you know, the thing to remember when they do it, you know, Maggie, of course, comes to mind, is there's the data of what these horses have looked like, you know, as they've come through before. And that to me is an essential part of doing it. But as you said, I mean, you know, if you've been around horses, animals, you know, they're happy or they're not, and, you know, that can be taken under advisement as well, especially, you know, for whatever reason at 7-5, you thought, man, this 3 does not look like it wants to run at all based on experiences around horses like that, then yeah, that's a big edge. But the 6 has contracted, the 1 is floating.
Right.
I would say on this board now, I'm not really interested in either at 3-2 or 2-1. I ended up keying the 7 with the 3-6, so just 4 units, 7 with 3-6, 3-6 over 7. But to me, at 7-1, that's kind of the horse I think maybe can sneak into the top 2.
Okay. I mean, if I was going to give a recommendation here, maybe in our delay, the race might be off, but maybe
no, we're still good.
Okay, I like maybe try a double into the 11 in the next race, or potentially I think even the 4 I thought was interesting. So a couple.
Yeah, I like the 4 a little bit, and I picked the 7 on top in the next race, Drummond Bass, for Thomas Malloy, who I was told earlier is a former Walsh assistant. So it's his first ever starter, but plenty of winnerly pedigree. And they're off, so I'm going to turn this off as we see what happens. Well, from the outside post, right to, as you see, they're already on the turn there. So yeah, those outside posts at a mile and a 16th really seem like you can get positioned with them.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. So I see what you're saying. The 8 just kind of cut all the way over. Not really penalized at all.
Honorable Hero and John McKee.
So, okay. So the nice tracking spot for the 3 is the favorite.
Right. Yeah. Thought the 9 could kind of make things interesting for the 3 if that one had gone as well, because then the 3 would have been behind. But good position for whoever's riding the 3. Landeros.
Yeah, Landeros. And 50 and change. Is that about?
Yeah, so they're going slower 8.5 than they did for the 10.
Okay.
Which I wish I were more familiar with like where all the beams were and stuff, because you know, with run ups and things like that. Certainly no excuse for either of the top 2 choices at this point. I would say the 3 is in deep water, though. I don't think he ever actually made the lead.
Yeah. Here comes the 6 on the outside. Looks decent. And the 1's gonna come late. No, he's not gonna come late. We're looking at 6-9, maybe.
6-7. Not couldn't get the exact at home.
Well, I'm back in the pick 4. I faded that
and
one.
A top pick for the HR Nation Power Picks.
Awesome. There we go. There you
we
go.
can bring the live feedback on now that we're done. But yeah, you know, the 8 and 3. I mean, I wouldn't even say the 3 did any real dirty work. You let the 8 clear and then had no punch late. No excuse off those fractions at 3-2 or whatever price he was.
Yeah. It's yeah, I'm just looking for a reason. I mean, he looked well intended, you know, he's coming off the claim, and obviously he was probably overbet a little bit, but yeah, no excuses. That was a good spot. Um, so, but it's interesting, you know, like looking, and I mean, I guess he had a decent run. He ran fourth at Turfway, I guess, last meet. So maybe that's another reason that he got bet strongly. But like you were saying earlier, that we've got some nice analytics we're working on, you know, kind of diving into some sires and profiles and tendencies. And I actually wrote something on the site the other day about Run Happy and how the Run Happy seem to be doing pretty well on dirt when they're going long, which is really interesting. And you know, it's something, that area that I'm certainly excited about learning more about. And I think as horse players, we don't get to hear about enough. And so I think, you know, we're excited about kind of doing more of that in the future and exposing that to people, you know, especially, you know, what are these different sires and their tendencies? And, you know, we hear about, you know, Practical Jokes are doing really well and Gun Runners were doing well this summer. Well, you know, which ones are going to do well on turf or going long or synthetic, you know, in different things like that. Another stat that we were talking about last night, Gun Runners are 8 for 20 on wet dirt. So it's not all slop, but let's just call it slop. I mean, that's amazing, isn't it? 40% winners in the slop. So now Shog won with one today that was like 1-5 at Aqueduct, so that would be another that'd be a winner in the drive. But interesting. So
it's one first time out in the slot, but
yeah, and I think it's interesting as those kind of things develop. And you know, I ended up betting Smile Happy in the Kentucky Jockey Club, you know, and he fit. I think he was about the third choice, but I had seen the Run Happy stats and how they're getting better as they go, especially longer than a mile. And you know, in Run Happy's, even Jim McInville was saying they didn't get off to the best start. And I think some of that might have to do with they're just not that great sprinting. And so, you know, kind of having that information is really, really helpful. And trying to decipher, especially on the young horses, you know, as they're trying different things for the first time.
Yep. And that's just, in my mind, especially, you know, appropriate for Turfway here in December. You know, farms, the people that own horses that they bred or they still own the dam and stuff, getting that win ahead of breeding season is huge.
Right.
I know that's you know, that's part of what's in play at Turfway. And you know, Turfway does give you the Tapeta option, which might be different from what horses have had, but also these 2-year-olds stretching out opportunities there, which I don't believe we'll see today. I think the 5th race is a sprint, but you know, that's definitely something to keep in mind. And you know, with sires that are, you know, so entrenched here in Central Kentucky, and Run Happy, Mattress Mac spent a lot of money, you know, promoting him and touting him, and he's definitely not going anywhere for the time being at Claiborne. So, you know, here's a chance to keep stretching out at Turfway, and you know, might get a price because people give up quickly in this game for whatever reason.
Yeah, and I think, you know, in that article, I don't have it in front of me, but the synthetic route stats on Run Happy were pretty interesting. And the synthetic in general might have been his best surface, but synthetic routes, I think there was just 2 or 3 or 4 of them, but he had a couple wins. And so that'd be something interesting. Like you said, you know, in these trends, whatever it is, especially track bias, I think you made a good point, is you want to get on it early. You know, it's not going to do any good to get on it after, you know, the next day when everybody else is on it. You kind of have to get on it while it's happening.
One thing I noticed for those watching the feed, you'll actually see it. It hasn't gone live yet. There it is, the 1-6 double. So 28-1, actually not awful. You know, if you're live in the pick 5,
Right.
you know, that's considering, you know, neither horse, I don't think it was a stretch by any means.
Right.
28-1. And if you're like me, who I did use the 4 that you like a little bit, my top pick's the 7. It was a big price on the morning line, and I haven't seen what it opened up at. But you know, that's a situation where, you know, that really, I think, had me feeling pretty good about going into the last 2 races with a shot. And it's all you can ask for in a pick 5.
Absolutely. You know, and the other thing too, and when you talk about pick fives and sequences, I think it's really interesting is a race like this where you have this third race and they're maidens and so you've got a lot of question marks. So people end up spreading in a race like this and maybe going narrower in let's say those first two races. So like you said, even though both those horses are very havable, not yeah, you're actually cooking if you've got those first two together on a $29 double. That's not anything to sneeze at, especially like I said, since people are kind of spreading in this leg and forces people to go tighter in the others.
I'm pulling up the board here that I will share. And I'm doing this to be equal opportunity. We don't play favorites, although we can if you want us to. But here is the Twin Spires look. I'm a basic guy. Actually, I actually prefer classic, but those don't have the odds. Pro Bono was one I thought could take a little more money than maybe should have. Opened at 7-1 though. Derby House opened as the favorite. Drummond Bass, my pick, 21-1. So no, it doesn't look like anything too untoward. Will pay wise though. After the 5, yeah. So as much as I said I thought the one would take money and isn't so far, definitely is one of the ones in the double pool once you get past the 5. So the 1 is going to be in the fade column for me based on that. I know you like the 11 a little bit, but did you as the second choice as well?
I'm okay with it. I was trying to get through the leg in the pick 4. So
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, did you use the 5?
I did. Yeah. I kind of spread a little bit here. But the 5 was kind of a B for me. I just figured it was going to be bet a lot and I wasn't as excited about the 5. So I was looking more at the 4, the 11, or the 1, 3, or 5 is kind of a B.
Tell me about the 3. 4.
What's that?
Tell me about the 4.
The 4, I just thought that the turf race was really interesting. The sire that M. Shoish has had some success at Turfway before, and a decent sire from a synthetic standpoint. And I don't know, just kind of playing around. It seemed like there wasn't a ton of speed here. I was looking at the 3 as well, probably like the 3 maybe a little bit more now that I look at it. I thought the 3 was interesting in the sense that the last time he came off a layoff was in March at Turfway. So he ran a decent second and ran a better race on the Churchill turf in April. And now he's stepped up. So he's actually gone, well, he's, maiden claiming the straight maidens. Then he went maiden claiming 7,500. Then he went 30,000 and now he's staying at the $30,000 level. So I thought there's some interesting things to like about the 3.
Yeah, I thought I'm scrolling through on the Brisnet, getting to the race summary, but I thought with the 13 out, who was 8-5 morning line favorite, didn't draw in, was an E6. The only other E-type that has some speed, especially drawn inside, is the 3. So I thought that made that horse kind of interesting from, okay, who goes, and it's a 6.5 furlong race. So just being on the front end against maiden claimers who stereotypically don't like to pass, I kind of thought the 3 had, maybe that benefit. Trainer doesn't make a lot of starts, so not really sure what to make of the blinkers going on. But Alex Ashar, he's here to win some races. Not that any jockey isn't, but I think he fits this colony better than some of the other places he's found himself riding at. And I don't know. I do think with the scratch on the outside, Russian Guy makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah. And then, just looking at the force more, I liked it last night. And I just another one I thought he would kind of get out a little bit. Had maybe a little trouble in his turf sprint at Indiana, and just thought, I mean, this just looked kind of like a pretty weak heat. And
No, I mean, considering the favorite, his not looking at Derby House, best race came on debut, has regressed every race since, at least based on the Brisnet speed ratings. And the par for the race is in the low 80s. And there's just not a horse who's run that's even come close to that. Not saying an 83 is what's going to win it, because it's hard for me to see any of the firsters do that. But just given the level, gave me confidence to take a shot with Drummond Bass. The Dam has 5 winners. 3 of them came as a 2-year-old. These are 3-year-olds, but it still kind of says, all right, it has some ability to run early. Something clearly went wrong here. I can't imagine Thomas Malloy was involved with the original buyers at 100,000. Gelded now in for 30. But I do bring up that price tag to me, not as a negative mark, but at this level, given these connections, which I'm not familiar with at all, it does tell me, okay, the horse had something to it that people were willing to pay 6 figures for this Liam's map. Clearly didn't go well in the short term, but if there's any sort of talent here based on how the others are running, could be an upset threat.
Yeah, and okay, Drummond Bass, I'll just kind of give him a quick look up. Yeah, that's something that, like we've been talking about is, and I like how you're kind of breaking it down of the background of, this horse, of what somebody paid for it. He's, what the sire went for. Liam's map, obviously a popular sire, even looking at the workout patterns, there's some nice works last January and February, and then all of a sudden, had to take several months off,
Right.
coming back. So they've stuck with this horse. It's pretty, late in the 3-year-old year to make a debut, but they're obviously sticking with him, and 30,000, they're not dropping him to the bottom or anything.
Yeah, no, that's for this is where they think they fit, or maybe they, in my mind, what I'm hoping is they're trying to sneak one by, and the horse is actually worth 50 or 60.
Right.
The purses here are much better than they have been, but there is a drop off. I don't know, I forget what the maiden 30s were going for at Churchill. Definitely more than 29. It does seem like kind of the scale got back to normal, for lack of a better word, among the claiming ranks with the Turfway purses. But nevertheless, an opportunity to run for better money than you would get at any other Midwest track this time of year. So see what happens. But like I said, I just kind of thought, based on the speed ratings of the others and the par, that maybe there was an opportunity to take some chances, and Sprinklehead was kind of another, getting on synthetic, being by Mishawish out of Mr. Greeley mare,
Right.
Some versatility there. The trainer, another name I'm not overly familiar with, but from a small sample, has won 3 of 11 maiden claiming. The opposite end of that, though, is with that ROI means they get bet when they've won, and this one isn't getting bet. But
Right.
still, at the price, like you said, that turf sprint at Indiana was in the mix, showed some competitiveness. And again, with these maiden claimers, like, sometimes that's enough. You get on the lead, the others just don't want to pass.
Right. And it seemed like that was sort of the pattern for the sprints at Turfway, to kind of be near the front a little bit. But I mean, you make a good case on the 7, so you're going to force me to play a safer pick 3, aren't you?
You can just bet the 7 to win at 23-1.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, see, there you go. That's much better. You're saving my bankroll already. That's a much better move.
Yeah.
And just looking at Liam's map, synthetic, we're sprinting, right? So 16.5% winners on, no, 20% winner on synthetic. So that's pretty strong. And our HRM impact on that is a plus 23%. So it's like a plus 23% ROI essentially on Liam's map on the synthetic. So that's not bad at 22-1. synthetic routes, more of the same. Yeah, he's a 20% winner, six wins for 30 starts. So not a lot of not a big sample size, but 20% in horse racing is pretty strong.
Not a bad number. Anyone else? The 5, one of those, I guess best of those who have run, but 9 to 5. I made an A, but I'm happy to leave out of anything I'm doing here separately.
Yeah, for me, the 5 I had a hard time with. He's, I guess they're better races, but it just seems like he sort of runs along and then just kind of fades to 4th, which became now 8th and 7th. I get that those are better. I don't know. I just to me, kind of struck me is that he didn't have a lot of speed, and he might just be too far out of it. And like you said, one of these cheaper ones just gets to the front and doesn't stop. The thing that made me throw him in is this trainer Michael Tomlinson is he does decent, more than decent, does really well at Turfway. I think he might point for the meet a little bit, and you probably know more about that. But he's got some good stats, and he's got good
that's
stats.
accurate.
What's that?
That's accurate.
Okay, yeah, and he's got good stats with Joe Rocco and are good enough, and good stats on a intermediate layoff here of 160 days sort of thing. So that was kind of one I didn't want to toss him for my pick 5, but it's like starting a pick 3 here. I would not use that horse at 4 to 5. No way.
Yeah, it's pretty light as we get the backdrop of the live racing experience at Turfway. Did you go up at all last year?
I did not. Turfway is great though. It's a small track. It's a great outing. Everything's easy and close. Great place to grab a beer, watch the races, jump out to the apron.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to them reopening to head up there. Now it's just a couple porta potties and a trailer, so not as much fun. And I think they're still pretty limited in terms of you have to be with the horse in to even get there. So yeah, looking forward to that reopening. There's a skyline across the street, so it's pretty much a 1-2 punch for me.
You're big on the skyline. Wow.
Oh, love it. That was that weighed heavy on me, to come over here, is knowing that my twice weekly lunches at Skyline would come to an end.
Oh yeah, it's not as close. So there's one in Bardstown Road. It's not too far away. I lost the habit. I used to when I was younger. I gave up the Skyline after a while, but might have to try it on again. It's good stuff.
I'm a fan. Pick 6 starts here, which I am not going to be getting involved, but
good Lord,
they do have the preferred
tough
rules in my case. 15% takeout, 90% payback. So even with the jackpot provision, the daily takeout, so to speak, is 23.5%, which is less than some other multi-race wagers in other jurisdictions. But I just opening day just feels like a tough day to play any jackpot.
Yeah. Especially on the poly track. And I tell you, just kind of getting ahead a little bit. I'm kind of waiting on race 5. I thought race 5 was interesting. There's, a lot of different firsters that can take some action. And I think, I don't know. I thought some of them might be over bet. So that's, I thought the 8 was live, the 9 was live. I was even a little interested in the first time or the 13. So if anyone's looking at pick 3s or anything, this is sort of a tough one to work with. If you
I agree on the 9. That horse definitely came up pretty strong. Paper handicapping. Ended up going with the 1 on top, but the 9 absolutely my alternative. And the pick 3, etc., might be the time to get the money in, because that Cincinnati crowd's going to play the name, right?
The Burrow Down. Yeah, I was thinking about that. That's a good name.
But yeah, and I'd actually be surprised if that horse is 20-1. I guess you could say back up in class, depending on what you think of the 50,000 claimers at Keeneland. But Connect is gangbusters with the synthetic. I think he's 20-some% and then 33%. Limited number, but nevertheless, 3 for 9 routing on synthetic. And when I like looking at stats like that, not so much thinking, this horse is going to win 1 out of every 3 times Progeny's routing on synthetic. It's just more, to me, the comfort level of it. He's done it. Like, there's been success,
right,
and there can be success again. Whereas, when you're starting to talk about horses who are 1 for 20, 0 for 18, things like that, like,
right,
okay, would I ever want a short price? Or, if they're 5 for 18, something like that, then that might be enough. That might be the only reason you need to play at a big price like Burrow down at 20-1. So, I'm looking forward. And that is a mile race. So, maybe the outside post isn't great, but Connect out of an aftermarket mare, like just think this is kind of the time for him getting on synthetic.
Did you look at the 14 at all? I didn't realize. I'm just looking at the 14 drew in race 5. So that's one to think about as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, Air Force Blue and draws in. So that's kind of the built-in premium sometimes. And 78 speed rating last out could win this race.
Yeah. Is that about the tops on Brisk? What's the top on Brisk?
So looking down at the one had a 78 last out, and Paris Paramore. So yeah, that mid 70 to upper 70s is what those who have run have done. The par for the level 78. So
yeah,
going in, you have horses who have run fast enough to win the typical race of these. The big question is, is the Asmussen and the Cox capable?
Right.
If they can run an 80 plus, they're probably the winner. But first time starters, first 2 weeks of the meet last year were 1 for 21. Steve, I think, was 4% overall. So not really the time of year he's pointing for with these type of horses. So I faded, but the tote board may tell a different story once we get a peek at those double will pays.
Yeah. I was looking at the 13. I just thought there was a good work pattern, and strong mandate was all right on the on the synthetic, and I don't know, taking a shot a little bit, but all right. So I got to look at your 7 for the pick 3. So Nyquist on synthetic, not very good. And that was, where was the Nyquist? The Nyquist was the 3 in race 5. So for whatever that's worth, and not very good. Sorry, means 2 for 24, 8% winners, and the HRN impact is a minus 50%. So you're basically you're winning 50 half the time that you should based on the odds. But otherwise, I mean, Walsh was running so well this fall. Definitely want to pay attention to pretty much everything he sends out.
Yeah, he spots them well. So there's confidence there too that meant for this, or at least fits this spot. Maybe not meant for it. I don't know how many people point at this level or thinking of winning these types of races, but he races them where they fit. So.
And Ed, who did you have in race 4? Are you looking at
6, 7?
Yeah, that's what I really liked the 7. I thought he potentially even stood above the others, but yeah, 6 fits as well for sure. And the 9, if he takes the polytrack, well, Tapita. Got to get my terminology right. Michael Dickinson won't like that, right?
Yeah, he wants his royalty. You could always just say synthetic.
Yeah, don't call my Tapita a polytrack.
Although he had some patents on the polytrack too.
Yeah, I mean, he's done an amazing job with sort of the inventor of and continuous developer of the surface. It has been great, and um, yeah, and his company and everybody associated with it, they've done a great job. All right, let's see. So your 7's 28-1. That's pretty juicy.
Yeah, now I'm gonna have to not overthinking it. I mean, to me, that's a win bet, and the 5 at 6-5, taking too much money. So
Mhm.
my other A's are the 3 and the 4. So 7 to win and 3, 4, 7.
All right. I'm gonna include all those in my pick 3. Yeah, so now I'm doing exactly what I said I shouldn't do, which is press the pick 4 with a pick 3. But that's what makes it fun, right?
Yeah, you don't want to be out in have no action going into race 4.
Yeah. Well, my pick 4 is still alive, so I didn't mess that up.
Oh, okay.
Not yet. So
Just covering other options.
right. Well, right. So I didn't have your 7, and yeah, see what the other options are. All right, let's see. What's that? And we got a few left to load, so I still got time to punch a couple more.
Oh yeah, you pound away. Beat the computers in there. Yeah, and 11's down to 7-2. So yeah, there's some movement late. Sticking with my 7 for obvious reasons at 30-1. Santiago Gonzalez. I know he wrote some prices last year, so wouldn't mind seeing him do so again here at a big number.
Right.
Kill this to stay on the positive side of the law.
Okay. All right, I'm ready. And yeah, anything you're looking for. I mean, I guess the big story here is what the 5 does, right?
Right. Well, right now he's unsettled. Oh,
Somebody acting up. All right, and they're off. And away they go. We need Travis to call it for us.
yeah.
So what do you look for when you're watching these races? Just to kind of get an idea of how it's playing or what the bias might be.
Yeah, I usually in this case trying to zero in on, I made a bet on a 30-1 horse, so probably more focused on him, but he's going to have a lot of work to do behind horses, no less. I mean, the 5 looks hopeless from there. Certainly not where I'd want to be at a short price sprinting.
Mm-hmm. Right.
We had the pace right. I mean, who else could it have been?
Right.
But the 3, the track's been playing sort of that mid pack outside closer.
Look at the 2
that the 11's getting.
But Landoros really came through with that 2, and he just had a lot of run.
I mean, the 7 actually showed. I mean, the 5 is so much the best. I said hopeless down the backstretch.
Right.
He circled the field and drew off. So
wow,
we're gonna chalk that up to I was wrong. The bettors were right at a short price. That's one of those, Mark. I watch the race and you say, okay, how many times out of 100 does the 5 win? And 90? Is there a scenario where the horse doesn't win that race?
You mean off of that pace setup, or you mean
just
as good as he looked? You mean?
Yeah, as good as he was.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I think
and by good I mean on a curve.
Right. Well, I mean, he was certainly good for 7-5 to draw off like that, but
that's what I mean. Like, I poo-pooed at 7-5, but in retrospect, I mean, he kind of, to me, should have been 3-5 based on that.
Yeah, I guess it's easy to say after the fact. I mean, I didn't like him. Like I did say, the trainer connections. I mean, there was a chance he would be well intended here, and maybe that had to do with the betting too. That as much as he got bet,
Right.
And yeah, I don't know. I think you just kind of have to throw that out and say, okay, we were wrong, but what can you learn from it? And the first thing I would take from it is, this horse was probably well intended. He was bet down to 7-5. He was bet strongly all the way through, and that's something to keep in mind, right? And because you're coming off very tough meets at Keeneland and Churchill, and certain people are pointing where if they think they have the horse flesh, and others are saying, well, maybe the timing's better or the horse's quality is better to kind of lay up and wait for Turfway. And so we're in that first week where some of these are going to be, pointed and pretty well intended. So great. Well, I'm going to run. So I know you've got a guest coming on, and glad I could join you.
Yeah, me too. It was
here.
going to get long in the tooth pretty quick. So appreciate you hopping on. Sorry, none of our 20-1 horses won though.
All right, we'll keep it going. Maybe in the next, and certainly I think in that 5th race, it's very wide open. So
blow up time.
All right, keep it going. I'll be watching. See you, Ed.
Sounds good. All right, thank you, Mark. Should be joined shortly by another. Hopefully, I'll be able to figure out how to add him to the queue. And nope, there he is. Gus Alonzo, my good friend, former colleague, pizza eater with up at Chicago. Gus, what's going on? Gus is there. Will his voice be there shortly? We sure hope so.
You hear me now?
There he is. What's up?
How you doing?
We get you off the links to handicap race 4 with us?
Yep, I got it.
All right, he's ready. How much do you play Turfway? I remember from last year we talked about it a little bit in and out, but I'm sure down in Florida you got some other tracks, probably your main focus, but tough to ignore the prices they have up there.
Oh, there's no doubt. Full fields. I mean, I've been playing them for at least 20 years. Yeah, always at night, especially during the winter days in Chicago, at night.
Oh, right. Yeah, another Chicago early. Guy from Mark to Gus, and got the Windy City covered for sure.
Yep.
So we'll race 4. Pick 6 started with the chalk. Pick 4 starts in the next, but this race, let's see, waiver claiming mile 13,000. So this pretty much as low as it gets for Turfway. Yep. Haven't seen these purses in a while in Kentucky since Ellis. Nevertheless, the money spends the same when we hit. What are you thinking about here in race 4, Gus?
I'm going to take a shot. I'm watching the first 3 races. Everything from the outside seems to be doing well.
Yeah.
Take a shot with the 11 here. 10-1 off the morning line. I think we're going to get that too. There's some others on the inside that are logical, but I like the 11. They've been rolling down the middle of the track.
Race 3 just went official, so we should be seeing the first flash, and there it is. Yeah, 15-1 on the first flash. The 6 is 6-5. No surprise there.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, the outside certainly hasn't seemed to be any deterrent. Oops. There we go.
All right.
Bringing up the board here. Trying to put them all on one page. There we go.
All right.
Yeah, 16-1. And I don't know a lot about either Israel Acevedo or Greg Romero, but I always find that helps your price.
Yeah. I mean, their numbers are pretty good too, both of them. So, they're capable. And
now, are you the type, 16-1, maybe we'll look at the double will pays here in a second. Is it Are you a win player when the price is that high, or are you always trying to swing at something and connect in a vertical?
You know, with a race like this, what I do is I play them first, second, and third, and tries and supers, and then with some logicals. You just obviously hope he wins, that you're going to get the best price. He's the best price I have, and maybe that's the way I like to approach a race like this.
All right. Well, I am on the opposite end of the spectrum because I did think Snakebite was
Yeah, he's going to be tough.
yeah, the most likely winner here. And I will bring up the good friends at Briss, their PPs. There we go. There's your 11. Wonder where ATC is. Bullet work coming into that for Israel. And yeah, actually, you said it, 20%.
Yeah.
As Mark said earlier, 20% is a good number in racing, and that's what Acevedo's batting here in 2021. But yeah, Snakebite does look tough. Machado does already have a win on the day. Long layoff, though, has not been seen since Turfway. It has been gelded since then, though. So maybe that's a positive. Yeah, I just thought this group as a whole kind of lacked the ability to run as fast as we've seen Snakebite run. So the layoff's the big question. Some works here, though, at Turfway locally. So that gave me a little extra confidence.
Longer works, too. 6 furlongs there. Too bad.
Was it Belterra? Not sure why I didn't get a race in there, but yeah, as you said, the 6 furlong, the 5, and the board certainly says this one's live, but I mean, it's 6-5. I guess I'd just be glad to advance and pick 5. Probably a little light from a win wagering standpoint. The 7 was my other
That 7 looks like an overlay there.
Yeah.
That was a good race at Prescott on his first time, on the synthetic. I think
lifetime best.
Yeah, anything close to that, I think could get it, could be right in the mix for sure.
Yeah, and this trainer, which I'm sure part of it would be being based up at Prescott and running here, but Teresa Conley, 22%.
Almost
500 on the all-weather. Yeah, that 79, I do believe is the best of the bunch. Just kind of period.
I think it's a top.
So
Yeah, I looked at it. I glanced at it.
I'm going to pull up the double wheel pace here because I am curious. Give me a moment. Oh, there we go. Yeah, let's get a sense for where these horses might actually land. Is the 9 Conso or actually the favorite in the double?
9.
Wow. Yeah, double David.
Wow, taking serious cash.
Yeah, so I mean, based on that, if the win money came in similarly, I would say maybe the 6 would be the right price, but really then the 7 and even twice the double payout to me is far more interesting. Also worth noting from a pick 3 standpoint that the 6 an overwhelming favorite over the 9, not the case in the double pool, but pick 3 wise, the 6 is taking some money there. So I don't know. Based on this, I have a hard time deciding who is actually going to be favored.
Yeah, it's up in the air, it looks like.
All right,
I would say the 6. Well, I think the 6 at the end would take the money.
Yeah. Morning line wise, it was double David, which surprised me, but after the meet Chris had there last year, maybe that attracts some money.
Sure.
All right. Well, I'm eager to see how this board settles. But Gulfstream opens tomorrow. What are you hearing about what to expect down in Florida this year?
I mean, it's nothing special really at the beginning, just the weekends. During the week, it's kind of below average. I mean, card tomorrow is pretty good. He got 2 stake races for 2-year-olds on grass. I like them both. I did the spotlight for him. So I like the card in general, but I think December 18th is when they really start cranking with the good cards.
Right. So you have spotlights tomorrow.
Yeah. Opening
Oh.
day at Gulfstream.
And Saturday?
Saturday, Aqueduct.
Oh, okay.
Cigar.
Oh, right. Cigar Mile.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we
I haven't
won't
been-
have you give away your secrets, but looks like it looks like a pretty evenly matched race to me,
A cigar. Yeah. You can go a lot of ways there, I would think.
especially with the weights. It is a handicap, and I thought a couple that got in light.
What did Ginobili
take advantage of
getting
that.
at? Ginobili's kind of interesting to me.
Yeah, and a pair of 2-year-old races there, Derby and Oaks Point. So,
Yeah.
what have you seen from the Tapeta so far at Gulfstream?
You know what? At first, it started off where the speed was holding, and then towards the end of the meet there, the end of the summer meet, it was kind of closers. So it's kind of really hard to tell at this point. I would think there's no set, what you want to do there. But it looks when you're watching the races on the Tapeta, they look like they're running on quicksand. It's kind of weird.
Right.
It looks
What about Johnny V and Jose being
Yeah.
away this winter? Is that
yeah. I mean,
just
Jose
mean Irad and Saez are going to win everything?
and Paco.
And Paco?
Paco will be there. There's a kid that came from Parks, Mikel Sanchez. That kid, he's won 2 riding titles at Parks, and he's doing pretty good he was doing good in the last few months at Gulfstream. I expect him to boot home some winners. And he's going to be a price. He's got a couple prices tomorrow, right off the bat. Sanchez.
Mikel?
Yep.
Mikel Sanchez. See,
Yeah,
that's the info we need.
Yeah.
Got to get in before everyone else is.
Yep. Jose Ortiz, pretty much he does that every year. He'll ride at Aqueduct. Then when it gets real cold, he'll come every weekend and ride at Gulfstream Park.
Yeah, he'll get those stakes mounts.
Yeah.
I can't imagine he'll be a stranger.
No, there's no doubt. He'll be there.
How about have you watched Tampa yet? Listen to our man Beam.
Yes, yeah. I've handicapped both Wednesday cards. And he sounds good, man. It's nice to have him on. Can't wait to get up there.
Yeah, no, yeah, I thought he taken to it. I'm sure having those 2 days over the summer to get used to the booth and the sight lines helped out a lot.
Sure.
Yeah, good to hear him there for sure. Let's take another look in at race 4 here at Turfway. Should have had the live feed up while we were talking. No one wants to see a static Naira odds board. Gonna pull that up. There we go, or it should be up shortly. It's got the pick 3 will pays there. That's races 2, 3, and 4 for 50 cents. Anyone other than the 6 and 9 is over $100 for $1. That's kind of always my first line of, maybe we might be in line for something.
Sure.
Gus, when I look at pick 5s and pick 4s, like, okay, where are the pick 3s interspersed? That 100 to 1 is kind of the first line of getting excited, and then I don't know, $600 or $700 is when you're really like, okay, we separated big time from the group. Unfortunately, the 6 is the big favorite here in that regard. At these prices, I picked him second, but the 7 at 7 to 1 definitely would be my tab. What we do, you especially, I mean, your picks are 2-3 days in advance. Sometimes I usually try to at least wait till 24 hours out before doing mine for Churchill. But, until you see the board, it's hard to get too excited about a pick, especially if, you want to bet to win.
Sure.
And for me, this is a perfect example. I mean, I'd much rather play the 7 at 7 to 1, but you don't have that problem because your pick's 20 to 1.
Yeah, he keeps on floating up. He was 16 at last click there. I saw him. This kind of race, I mean, it's such a tricky race. obviously these horses don't have the form, so I just see some angles with the 11, and I can see him sitting somewhere mid-pack and maybe coming with a run, that wide run. Seems like especially in the last race, the front runners are going pretty quick up front. Maybe they can set it up for him.
Yeah. Do you have any notes on the 4?
On the 4, Cardiac Kid. Yep. He took money, his last couple at Mountaineer, and it's Jimenez. Jimenez does well here. So he's what's he going off at?
He's 5-1 right now.
Yeah, I think that's the Jimenez. He's also a first-time gelding. But he does have some back class from 2020, but lately, I don't know, he's kind of going the wrong way. I think that money's just for Jimenez.
I have Sonny
I have him in
Leon.
the mix. What's that?
Was there a jockey change? I have Sonny Leon.
Oh, okay, maybe, I don't know why I have Jimenez.
But he is first-time gelding, so.
Okay, I don't know why, let me see something.
The other one that somewhat was interesting, and that looks like the live feed stop, but I'll move back over to the Brisnet PPs. Number 10, Mr. Zydeco, who was 30-1 last I saw. I don't know. I kind of had him in the same bucket as Signs of the Warrior, who you like, but it just seemed like possibly could get sort of just that outside, not closing trip. I don't think he'll be too far out of it, but
Right.
maybe first run on the outside.
Yeah, his numbers are, are comparable. He's just been stuck at this level for so long. It's hard to trust him for the top spot, but definitely, I mean, he could be used at a price.
Yeah. No, I think that's the one, liking the 6 a little bit, even at a short price, like, okay, maybe Mr. Zydeco is the one to slide in there. Double David for me is the one definitely fading, whether he ends up being favored or not, favored or second choice, but $2,000 buy way back when has earned that back, certainly been useful for connections. Landeros up for Jose D'Angelo, kind of all the things that say, yeah, this horse is going to take money that you'd see at Turfway or there, but just, I don't know, synthetic debut, shipping in from Fairhill did work fast, but I don't know, it just seems too short a price.
No, I agree. In this kind of race, I'm willing to toss him.
Yeah, and it is on the outside, which at the short price, I don't necessarily love going a mile. At the longer prices of the, 2 we mentioned, your top pick, Signs of a Warrior, kind of my long shot look, Mr. Zydeco, I'm more forgiving of it. But yeah, a double David, definitely not for me, not even a win bet David, let alone a double. Yeah. So at these prices, I'm definitely, I would say 7, and then 4, 6, 10, just kind of interspersed among them.
Yeah, I'm on the 11, and I'll play them, like I said, first, second, and third with the 6, 2, 4, and 7. Those are. But I'll tell you what, anything over, he's 2-1 right now. The 6, anything over 9-5. I mean, that is a heck of a price. It's worth a shot almost.
Yeah, the big question is just whether ready, and so far based on the Maltese and the Will Pays and the early action,
yeah,
the barn must think he's ready.
Yeah, because he took money right off the bat, right?
Yeah, he opened light. So not sure what's going on here. See 7 minutes to post, but don't even have riders up, and they're still tinkering with the 4 there or what?
Yeah, I don't know. It was holding them back. It's a nice night there, huh?
Yeah, we were in the mid 60s today in Louisville. Wow. So it's definitely nice to be outside, and probably feels pretty good up at Turfway for a December evening.
I bet. Wow. Yeah, I saw they broke records in the Midwest.
Oh, for temperatures?
Yeah, I think the mid 70s in like St. Louis. Sure did.
When's the last time you had Skyline?
Skyline, I would say about a month ago,
Oh, me too.
right after Halloween.
Yeah, I was, I think it was Breeders' Cup week was my last time.
Yeah, I think it was right after Halloween.
Yeah,
I don't know why big race days, I usually like to go a day or two before. It's just like a tradition,
yeah,
just that excitement.
it's good. Yeah, I miss being able to pop over there. There's a ferry, or there must have been some sort of shoe repair or
Yep.
who knows what. But how about 2J's? You ever go there?
You know what? There's one in Fort Lauderdale. There's one in Naples that you mentioned, but there's one in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
When I got there, I mean, the line was out the door, and my wife and 3 kids, they were like, Chick-fil-A it is. We had the mobile app, and where you get the carry out.
Right. Yeah, they bring it right to your car. Well,
Yeah.
if you ever get back to 2J's, you got to get the Banana Dream.
Banana Dream.
Yep.
All right. I can remember
If
that.
you like banana.
I do.
I do not recommend the Banana Dream if you're anti-banana. Banana Nightmare. No, but yeah, 2J's is good. Skyline's better, but
Yep.
there's a Skyline across the street from Turfway. Well, they're finally on the track. You mentioned the 2, which I have nowhere. What's the story there?
Crown the Prince. Third start off the current form cycle. Dropping in class. I think this one, he's got a look as well. Maybe an inside-outside trip.
Crown the Prince. Yeah, third off the layoff. Looking back here, we're first off at Turfway, second, and then third. Does seem to improve with racing. So
Yeah, and that was that was a lot tougher bunch he faced at Keeneland last time too.
and there's your boy Jimenez. That must have been who you were looking
Okay,
at.
yeah. What was I looking at? You know what? I mixed it up. I did have Jimenez on the 2.
Yeah, Bullet last time. Yeah.
He's got a look. Blowout
All
bullet
right.
there.
What's that?
Blowout bullet.
Yeah.
Shoots some speed. What's a 7?
Blinkers on. Yeah, those are some pretty nice. I mean,
That's a solid
one
number.
for 6, but popped at a price when doing it. And then what's this? 3 for 16, third off the layoff. So owner, breeder, trainer.
Yep. Trying to get that money.
All right, so you're 11 with 246.
11 with 2, 4, 6, 7. I'm playing first, second, and third.
11 with 2, 4. Wow, 30 to 1 now.
Wow.
All right, now I'm 7 with 4, 6, 10.
7, 4, 6, 10. I like
Not
it.
a lot of agreement there, Gus.
No. We got it covered.
We do have it covered. So based on that, it's going to come 981.
Or Coots, 9, 6 for
Yeah.
third.
Yeah, no 9s here. 9 to 5.
No.
I mean, I guess I get it, but yeah, not for me. And I mean that I think a lot of times the trap players run into is they look at a race like this and 6, 7, 9, I have it covered. There's really no opinion there when 2 horses are 2 to 1. So I'm definitely glad I took my stand, and hopefully it'll work out. But if you like the 9, that's fine. Just you wouldn't want to use the 6 with it either, I would think. I mean, this just
No.
doesn't seem like a race you're looking to chalk out in the exacta.
No. I have no interest in the 9.
All right. Well, that is our agreement at least. So
Yep.
not a lot of agreement in terms of the horses we think will run well, but we have identified a 2-to-1 one we think won't run well enough. So
We're due for a double-digit winner here.
that is true. Yeah, it hasn't. I guess the third race winner was chalky, but we haven't had any overwhelming short prices, but still waiting on the patented bomb as well to come in.
35-1 now. Whew.
Man, oh man, you better. I hope you betting to win.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna.
You don't want to be holding the bag if it comes 11-9.
Oof.
No siree. Let's see, I've done a terrible job looking at the comments here. Gordon Boswell updating everyone that it's post time. Appreciate that, GB. Jesse says the 3 has the right pedigree and trainer, which at 49-1, that's all I would need to see.
You got the right price.
Yeah, that's a heck of a price. USMC Double Dog, he is on the 6. Understandable. That's who I am on as well. In terms of most likely winner, I think the 7 at 6-1 is who I'd be most excited about playing. I think that's it for fresh opinions on this race, but anyone else who has any, pop them in there and we'll discuss coffee talk style. Yeah, Jose Cuberon, don't forget the win play show at that price. I would hesitate. I really don't like ever advocating for a show bet at 30-1 in a, what is this, a 10-horse field.
Yeah,
I can start to think where place maybe makes a little sense, but
that's as far as I would go.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, and in this case too, like I like the 6, so okay, like the favorite or at least co-favorite in the place and show pools, that hurts your price if your horse runs well. So yeah, I'd rather just bet to win, and the math, the studies over time say that's the way to go anyway.
Sure. Yeah, I thought the 6, with the early money, I thought he would be a little lower. I thought he'd be, close to even money, 6-5
Right.
even money at 2-1. I mean, the 9 right now took the late money kind of.
Yeah, and he was the favorite in the double pool, so
Sure.
that fitting as well as they circle the gate. This has definitely been one of the odder warm-ups I've seen in a while with the what I imagine was a shoe repair. Not really sure I ever saw any of these horses break off though either and
No,
warm up. We were looking at the PPs for a little bit, so maybe we missed it then. Well, I certainly at this point definitely need to do a 10-11.
little back up.
I'm not sure what that's paying, but I feel like we talked about them enough that don't want to not be celebrating if that were to somehow come in.
That would definitely be a good one.
Yeah.
What happened? What about those geese, those Canadian geese there in the infield? They ever tried to come out to the track?
It doesn't seem like it seems like that happens at Presque Isle a lot.
Yes. Maybe a night like tonight, instead of warmer, they might get frisky and try that.
Yeah, that's true. They're being lured into a false sense of winter not coming.
Right. Hope that middle of the track stays good here.
That's right. All right.
All right.
There we go. I'll kill this as soon as they spring the latch, but they're going in the gate. I mean, it's not a huge move, 5 odds points, but a small percentage of the win pool. But the 10 did tick down a touch, 25-1. Gordon Boswell is on the 2. Jose's got the 7. Devil Dog's on the 6, and they're off. So I'm gonna cut this off, and others can watch. You and I can talk. Seems like everyone's staying out of trouble.
Yes. Let's see here.
Long shot leader. I would definitely say Rhett Thomas was by far the least likely winner in my mind.
I would agree with that.
Hmm. Six being ridden with some confidence.
Get kid to the inside of double David there.
Yeah, he's in a good spot.
Yeah, see if a 4 just might not have any horse, but that was definitely an instance where if he had accelerated, he could have boxed the 6 in there.
For sure. The 6 is traveling well.
And kudos to the jockey there getting out on the middle of the track, but he's in deep water here, maybe.
Mm.
Wow, 54-1.
Wow. I knew the bomb was coming. Got the wrong bomb.
There it is. There was the bomb.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Just kind of hung there, huh? 6.
Yeah, that's no excuse for sure. And they went faster in that race than they did
Earlier, right?
earlier. You know, and the 4, I guess, made somewhat of a move on the inside, but with the outside being the place to be, I guess somewhat upgrade him, but always hard to say how do you not go by a 50-1. The 9 was terrible. So I guess you could say we got that right.
7 was 4th. And I think my 11's still running.
If you want to call that running. Well, the good news is, we might be looking at a pick 5 carryover, because I have to think that horse was, Corrales. Wow.
Yes. Yep. You know
Well, that alone, I mean,
Sure.
that I would say Geraldo should never be 50-1. So,
No.
and I can actually hear the Discord blowing up. One of the servers I'm on, someone said they're betting Corrales no matter what if he's 20-1 or higher. So
They won't be betting much, but they got a bunch there.
yeah, that's I mean, I'm stunned. I mean, that not only did he win, I mean, and the next 2, Cardiac Kid and Snakebite, were in shouting distance at least. So it's not like you drew off, but it was many lengths back to 4th.
Yes.
And the thought in a 10-horse field that Rhett Thomas was that many lengths better than 7 others. I mean, that's why we play Turfway. I wish that had been the race I went deep in. Because if you're live, you're in good shape. I am not.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I mean, hard to come up with. The jockey angle, like you said, maybe he could have been thrown in there here in a wide open race, bottom level claimer.
Yeah, no, that I would have needed all, admittedly. But the favorite was coming in off a layoff, and that seemed to have maybe gotten to him. Just didn't go by. Maybe next time, but no one else showed up. There was another favorite we didn't even like on paper without the question mark or the layoff. So the recipe was there, the ingredients, but that was a tough one
Yeah.
to get to in my mind. And I'm gonna pull up the PPs here. Let's see what we missed.
When did he end up going 60-1, did he?
Yeah, 60-1.
Wow.
0 for 4 on synthetic. New trainer.
Yeah. Felipe.
I mean, his lifetime best. I don't know.
That was tough.
Yeah. I mean, the
Yeah,
one
that-
win was gate to wire, but he was 1-2. So
Right. Yeah, never been, I mean,
yeah,
never hit the board at Turfway.
I guess that's the only.
Yeah, why would he get on, you know? That's. And, you know, there's no history between the Corrales and the
Right.
trainer.
Yeah, no, I mean, he went out to the lead. Everyone's kind of hung out behind him, and
He kicked home good.
yeah, I mean, you have the best rider in the colony, like, or maybe, but I'm trying to see if oops. I have a stat on Corrales here.
At Turfway,
No,
just in general.
so when Corrales has the lead at the first call, he wins 40% of his races.
Wow. It's like Louis Sire's territory.
Yeah, and that what I'm pulling up there that you see is Thorough Manager, which is
That's a nice stat.
Ed Tucker software, but see it's pretty small on there. Let me stretch this out.
What's Leperoux on the front end?
That's a good question.
I'm sure he'd open some eyes. $123 winner.
But yeah, so that's Corrales on the lead 18% of the time. When he's a 40% winner. So impressive numbers there that wouldn't have led me to bet that horse, but nevertheless, bringing up the will pays. We do have a few
That will carry, right? Just
carry 7, 12, 13. So pretty unlikely.
Look at the 11. Wow.
Yeah, that
Scoop,
I would think is the pool.
scoop time.
Let's see. Yeah, the pool was 139. So
Yeah, half.
that's going to be the pool. Well, on positive side, if you want to call it that, we have a pick 4 to look forward to. So, no, we only said we'd talk about the 4th, but before we sign off, Gus, any thoughts here in the 5th?
You know, I really just glanced at it. I don't have a major, no opinion worth noting on the 5th race at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I definitely like the 1. I am interested to see that really the 2 first-time starters won a Brad Cox product, 18-1.
Ice cold.
Has not caught any eyes. And the Steve 7-2.
Yeah.
But that's tepid action. But there is 79. That's actually a pretty decent pool total. Looking at the doubles, which are all monsters, is the favorite with the chalk. And it's pretty clear. 2, 1, 3. And so on. So yeah, I guess we can expect the 2 to be the favorite based on that, which I will try to fade. First time starters 1 for 21 this time last year at the meet, and just not not convinced there aren't others that can be as good. Just kind of betting on a wild card there. So
Yeah, you can do a lot worse than Michael Maker there with the 1.
yeah, no, I like the 1 quite a bit. So, well, Gus, I really appreciate you signing on with us. Good to
Oh,
talk to you.
anytime. Anytime. It was good.
Yeah,
Great
we'll-
fun. Next time we'll bring home a winner.
Yeah, we on the plus side, I don't think anyone had that winner. If you did, let us know. But congratulations if you're live, and good luck. And we'll do this again, Gus.
No problem. Anytime, Ed. I appreciate it. Have a good
Yep.
night.
You too, man. All right, that's Gus Alonzo. Picks available at Bristnet for him, Gulfstream on Friday, Aqueduct on Saturday. And that is going to about do it for us here at Horse Racing Nation. Really appreciate everyone who checked out the feed, stayed with us, came in and out, played a race or two, getting our feet wet. Going to bring a lot more to this in the future. Big plans in terms of some stats to weave in, and some graphics and things like that. But most of all, just glad we had the stream working and we had people in and out. So I think a pretty good first start, other than the wagering results, which definitely zeroed out with the upset victory in race 4. But again, handicappers that I respect, or at least one, point blank said Geraldo Corrales 21 or higher, 20 to 1 or higher, flat bet every time, and they cashed to the tune of $123 there in race 4. Late pick 4 starts here in race 5. 1 is my single to kick things off. I do like the 9 as well, currently 10 to 1. That's Burrow down. Hard Spun Woman on top. Best of luck the rest of the way. Thanks for joining us.